Okay, let's get going. In fact, you will provide us with today's word of the day. Why and what is it? Fire. Because, in my opinion, the AI revolution is what's happening right now, and the industry is going to be on fire not just as we approach the end of the year this week. I believe that this is only the beginning of a fourth industrial revolution, and it is currently entering its next phase. Okay, it's just the beginning. It must be 9:30, yet you constantly insist it's 9 o'clock. No, I've already stated that. I did say it. At the AI party, which starts at 4 a.m., it is currently 9:30 to 10 p.m. Okay, so there are some advancements in the field, particularly in the software area concerning artificial intelligence. Snowflake is one of them, while Elastic is the other. We've had the good fortune to have the CEO on the program. It's a bit of a broad play. They do security and cloud. Why these two names? Look, we've discussed it on the show, I believe. The AI software component, the second derivative, is now available. In my opinion, that will be crucial in 2025. These days, you see Elastic, Snowflake, and names like MongoDB. Palantir is an example of a file name that describes the software and use cases. The software AI era, in my opinion, has arrived. That will be the main focus in 2025. We changed those names for that reason. Okay, so there have been recent earnings for both of those names. In fact, we will present the charts. Huge leap. Snowflake has increased by more than 25% since earnings. Elastic has risen more than 20% after its report. What will cause them to rise even further? They have had significant increases following earnings. What else might occur that could serve as a catalyst? That's only a taste of where I think these stocks are headed. Obviously, Godfather V, Jensen, and Nvidia are at the forefront of the consumer model and enterprise AI developments. But now you're looking at these LLM models, the consumption part. I think that over the coming years, you're going to start to see earnings and overall growth being understated, possibly by 15 to 20%. For this reason, you consider names like MongoDB, Elastic, and Snowflake. Palantir, the Messi of AI, is undoubtedly where it all begins, but this software phase is already here and only getting started. Okay, so what role does the concept of bond yields play in this? I have a question for you. Bond yields and the strengthening dollar were likely major topics of conversation back in 2022. In actuality, the dollar is currently even stronger than it was in June 2022, when Salesforce and Microsoft issued warnings. What role do those factors play in this trade? Look, that might be a disadvantage right now in terms of money. We need to see if it holds true in terms of dollar strength. But I believe the difference now is that a lot of that is built into guidance. However, compared to what we're witnessing from the standpoint of demand, we're in a very different position now. In terms of software, that tightening environment was a major obstacle. Because of the role that this AI revolution plays, we are witnessing the exact reverse. Consequently, I believe that despite the possibility of currency headwinds, they will not prevent us from discussing NASDAQ 20,000, and I think we will be discussing the NASDAQ 25,000 within the next 2 years. Once more, Elastic and Snowflake are your choices for us today. I also want to discuss deregulation and the possibility of some adjustments to the FTC and other regulatory bodies. Do either of these names benefit from that, or do they have no bearing on it? Given that Khan will be present at the FTC, I believe it to be bullish because it will be a big deal-making opportunity. These businesses are going to launch an offensive, in my opinion. However, you will also have a significant amount of M&A from both financial and strategic actors. Software has underperformed as a result. However, I believe that in 2025, we will sit here and say, software is fire. Because this is only the beginning of what I see as the AI revolution starting around 9:30 to 10 p.m. We are discussing $2 trillion in capital expenditures for AI. They were now on the velvet ropes behind hyperscalers from Microsoft and Nvidia. Let us into the party, says software. The celebration has arrived. The celebration has arrived. Now, let's move on to our mystery chart. Palantir was the name. You recently increased your price objective for Palantir, which is enjoying a fantastic year so far. You're at $75, while the street is at roughly $37. This stock has seen a significant surge. What will cause it to keep rising this high? Look, the people who detest Palantir and bears will still hate them, as we all know. Regarding the software and use cases, they continue to underestimate. I don't think any product on the market can compare to what Karp and the team have accomplished at AIP. The enterprise piece, in my opinion, has the potential to generate billions of dollars in income in the future. Therefore, you think, oh, it's expensive. Until you really consider what this means, $75. In 3 or 4 years, I look out. Is Palantir poised to become the next SAP, Salesforce, or Oracle? I believe that's what we're discussing. The bears will therefore emerge from hibernation to discuss valuation. It's only the beginning of what I see as messy. Let's check the Nvidia stock this morning. Piper Sandler rated the stock as an overweight with a price objective of $175, calling it a top large-cap pick and a must-own due to the ramp-up of its Blackwell chip. Today's pricing is $148.07. Guys, you brought up a few of the hyperscalers. Nvidia, a few positive remarks. Piper makes it a superb choice for starters. This note from Melius is also rather intriguing. According to Ben, it comes to $185. Our excitement for Blackwell has increased even further, he says. Ben claims that giving up on Nvidia with Hopper is comparable to giving up on Apple following the release of the iPhone 1 or 2. And according to their most recent projections, David, hyperscaler capital expenditures total $282 billion. How long will $282 billion last? Yearly. With Oracle, Amazon, and Meta included, it would be increasing 24% year over year. I'm not sure how that stacks up against some of the numbers we received from Morgan Stanley. It was more than $300 billion. Yes, exactly. Yes, that, or I had to look at the figures. However, there has been something intriguing that I've been attempting to concentrate on. Last week, there was a information story. Additionally, I listened to Mark Andreessen and Ben Horowitz's podcast. It has nothing to do with that, even though it was done before the election. In other words, they brought up the argument that the development of huge language models, especially at OpenAI, is sluggishly advancing from one model to the next. Additionally, Orion, the next flagship model, I suppose its code name there, is mentioned in the information article. Although it performed better than previous models, the quality improvement was far less pronounced than the difference between ChatGPT 3 and ChatGPT 4, which are, of course, the final 2 models. On that podcast, Andreessen also made the same statement. It's kind of fascinating, so I'm simply marking it. Is their data running low? Why? Is it accurate? Is progress actually slowing down? As that wasn't anticipated. It's not like it's a chip problem if, in reality, they're using as many or more CPUs. It might just be unclear. Certainly unclear to me, Carl, or it might be a data-related problem. But if the trend abruptly halted, that would have significant consequences. I am aware. The other, and not to deviate too much from your point, Andreessen described America as an economic coiled spring in a recent tweet. I noticed that. Our GDP should be growing at least 4% annually, and ideally 6 to 8% plus. He claims that since before I was born, growth has been violently repressed. It would be intriguing. We had these conversations during the first Trump term, though, so let's return to them. That's because you need people. And without people, how are you going to achieve that type of growth? Correct. Perhaps generative AI and robotics will be used once more. But perhaps that's the purpose, Sarah, if it stops moving forward. Mark Andreessen and a lot of other specialists, including Jensen, will be heard. I don't know. However, I found it intriguing that Andreessen essentially stated the same on the podcast as well, naming ChatGPT employees as the sources. We all believe it's on a one-way ticket, therefore it is. That's right. Higher and faster. That's right. The rate of change will only accelerate exponentially, by the way. That being said, maybe beers. It's fascinating. The incoming president's rhetoric regarding Taiwan will likely anger the Chinese because they will have to pay for their own defense, which means Taiwan will likely end up purchasing F-35s and Patriot missiles from the U.S. to demonstrate that they are willing to cooperate. This has been an existential threat to Taiwan Semi and possibly Nvidia the entire time, so you start to think about how it will all work out. If you would like any other changes, please let me know.